So yeah, CM Punk delivered a pipe bomb 2.0 at this episode of Monday Night Raw, where he had basically taken shots at obviously Roman Reigns, but obviously went beyond that as well, taking shots at Dwayne The Rock Johnson, at TKO, at Vince McMahon, and of course Pat McAfee as well. And in doing so, kind of took shots at ticket sales as well. He had basically told Pat McAfee to basically ring the agent that had shoehorned him into this business and tell him to lower the ticket prices. I'm not really going to dwell too much on this opening promo, because I don't feel like I can really say anything about this that hasn't been said already. But yeah, I thought it was fire. I really did. I feel like that there was always a part where I feel like there's always that little potential that you are kind of getting worked a little bit. But I'm all down for that. You know what I mean? I feel like that we haven't really seen this in WWE wrestling for quite some time, where those lines between reality and fiction have been, really kind of blurred, and you are generally wondering, what's real and what is a work. And I'm all down for it. I think that, there is I think for me personally, my personal feelings are probably that the truth kind of lies somewhere in the middle, where I think there is a little bit of creative power struggle between WWE and TKO, but I feel maybe it is being sort of like amplified just for kind of show as well. But I thought it was wonderful. I really did. It was littered just with CM Punk's kind of characteristic, kind of like egotistical, kind of self-congratulatory type isms, and which just for me kind of like grate a little bit sometimes, so that just like kind of tainted it a little bit for me. But that's a purely like subjective thing, and yeah, on the whole, guys, I thought that this was a fire promo. I really did. Yeah, so we basically had we had ISO Speed backstage. He was basically still trying to get Danhausen to remove a curse from him. Adam Pearce had basically advised him to basically go home and let the users and the Vision kind of like sort it out amongst themselves. This was when Logan Paul and Austin Theory came along and was like, no, everybody hates you. You can't go off alone, especially over the parking lot. Your only safe space is with us. So they basically kind of like took him off. Austin Theory had a match with LA Knight, so they had basically brought ISO Speed out for this. During this match, Logan Paul shoved ISO Speed into LA Knight, so basically LA Knight started chasing ISO Speed around the ring. ISO Speed was trying to get away up the runway when the Usos came out and basically kind of like sandwiched him. It had basically caused enough of a distraction for Austin Theory to roll LA Knight up, grabbing the tights and picking up a win. We then basically had the Usos and LA Knight ganging up on ISO Speed. They threw him into the ropes when Logan Paul mercifully pulled him out, and we basically had, as they were disappearing up the runway, LA Knight had basically called out Adam Pearce. Basically, we got the confirmation that now we're going to have a six-man tag with the Usos and LA Knight taking on the Vision and ISO Speed at WrestleMania. And I feel mixed about that, to be honest with you. I do think realistically, I don't know how else you could have got these people on the card. So, it is what it is. Obviously, I'm happy with the users, and LA Knight have only made it on the card. I thought it was looking really doubtful especially for LA Knight for a minute. So, I'm kind of like down. Honestly, it's not going to be a match I don't feel I'm going to be overly invested in. But I feel like it, I do like that sort of like goofier side of wrestling. And this has made me chuckle. It really has, especially and primarily that's been kind of credit to Aisha Speed and just the selling that he's been basically doing with his facial expressions. I think they've really kind of really done it. I think he's done a fantastic job in kind of selling this. So we had basically got we had a scheduled match between Finn Balor and JD McDonough, but this match basically didn't get off the ground because Dominic Mysterio came out and attacked Finn Balor, and they basically beat Finn Balor down. We later got a promo by Finn Balor. We basically got this indicator that we're going to get the Demon Finn Balor returning at WrestleMania, which I think is kind of like more kind of like confirmation that Finn Balor is going to win this match at WrestleMania, because I just think it would be absolutely stupid to bring the Demon Finn Balor back and not have him win. That would be absolutely nonsensical. And when has WWE ever done anything nonsensical here? So basically also we got like a Bailey and Nash legend as well. And I thought this was another solid match. We had Bailey picking up a win here. I have said in my other videos that I think Bailey and Ivor should win that Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Bailey winning here has planted a little bit of seed of doubt in whether that's going to happen, but that's just personally what I would personally like to see. We had Danhausen basically coming out, kind of doing Danhausen things. He was basically essentially an advertisement for merchandising for WWE here. We had Seth Rollins basically come out and basically cut this promo where he was basically speculating that him and Gunther have no real personal thing going on, so we can only speculate that Paul Heyman and Gunther have entered into some sort of agreement. Now that Brock Lesnar is occupied with Obafemi, and we've got Brock. We got Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed basically on the shelf, as he put it. He was kind of like looking for another man to kind of hide behind it. He found that in Gunther. So as he was cutting this promo, Gunther basically came out and tried to apply the sleeper on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins escaped this time and reversed it, pulling Gunther in the sleeper. Gunther escaped this by throwing Seth Rollins over his shoulder. Seth went to hit him with a stomp, but Gunther got out of the way. So Seth Rollins basically flew off the ropes and booted Gunther in the face. They ended up brawling on the outside. I think that this did everything that it kind of needed to. We basically then followed Gunther backstage where he had met Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was basically saying that he had no idea of why Gunther did what he did at Madison Square Gardens, but he owed him a massive thank you anyway. Gunther basically said, it was personal. I did have reasons for doing it, just not the reasons that Seth Rollins is thinking. And then he basically told Paul Heyman that because what he did at Madison Square Gardens, he owed him much more than a big thank you. So I guess we are going to get Gunther and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I guess that's going to be the play here. That's been on the cards for some time. So So yeah, I think that that's probably what we're going to get here. That's kind of going to be the play. But we got a confirmation that Gunther had basically done Paul Heyman this favour so that he would win, and he wanted and he wants Brock Lesnar. So yeah, we basically what else do we have here? We had the we had a fantastic six-man tag match between Dragon Lee, Penta, Javon Evans taking on the Los Americanos. This was a fantastic match, it really was, and you wouldn't be surprised with the amount of talent there is in there. I really like Lucha Libre kind of style of wrestling, so it was really down for me. It's basically the finisher was just a killer. It ended with Penta delivering this Mexican destroyer on the outside of the ring, which you know is the hardest part of the ring as well. The Mexican destroyer just looks gnarly at the best of times, so the fact that this happened on the hardest part of the mat as well. And then basically we then had Javon Evans basically just absolutely getting so much height on this OG cutter to pick up a 1, 2, 3. It was just a fantastic finish to a fantastic match, quite quite honestly. We then had the Rey Mysterio coming out, basically saying that that the ladder match at WrestleMania basically has a potential to be a pinnacle of ladder matches, which it absolutely does. This is when the Rey Mysterio basically said that it was missing one more component though, and basically had announced that he was going to be added into this ladder match at WrestleMania. Conveniently, just a week after that Gunther got tied in with Seth Rollins for WrestleMania. It was almost as if basically Rey Mysterio had just been kind of like sat at home biding his time, waiting for them to lock Gunther in for something, so he could basically come back and go, yes, I'm not going to get retired. It did kind of like feel like WWE were playing checkers when Rey Mysterio was playing chess. But yeah, I honestly though, I do think that this is just, you know, if anything, it's only going to elevate it. It's going to be a fantastic match. I had basically said this in a previous video when it was announced. I think that it's that, you know, it does have a potential to be whatever night it falls down. It does have a potential to be the match of the night. I really do think that. Just, you know, the talent that's going to be on display, and that is just going to be absolutely phenomenal. We basically had Stephanie Valkyrie basically attacking Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez backstage. This was also, they were only given like about 10 seconds, something like that, something like really minuscule. So it just kind of like, again, like proved just how much Liv Morgan and Stephanie Valkyrie, how much mileage they're getting out of this feud with so little, you know, especially if you can compare it to say like a Jade Cargo and Rhea Ripley feud, that, you know, which is getting a lot more attention, a lot more screen time, but yeah, it's just yeah, Liv Morgan and Stephanie Valkyrie are just doing so much more with this feud, with so much little as well. So yeah, talking of Rhea Ripley and and Jade Cargill, we then basically had a match between Rio taking on Michin and B-Fab. We had Io Sky picking up a win here. The match itself was fine. I mean, we kind of knew how all this was going to play out now. It has all been just kind of like a bit of a copy and paste job here. Yeah, after Io Sky picked up a win, we basically had Jade Cargill attack Io Sky, and yeah, so basically beat her down in front of Rhea Ripley. So so yeah, it's just, they're inserted here, Sky, and they're trying all these different things to kind of try and I see what they're trying to build this feud. I understand what they're trying to do with the Meechin and B-Fab faction, that they're trying to make Rhea look like the underdog. It's just not working for me. It doesn't. Rhea Ripley did this backstage promo last week where she basically was like, Jade Cargill aligning herself with Meechin and B-Fab, just basically underlines the fact that she's weak and she can't do this by herself. And this is and I think it kind of accentuates a problem with this feud as well. It does. I don't think it makes Jade Cargill look stronger. I think that with Meechin and B-Fab joining Jade Cargill, it just has that sort of like if you can't beat him, join him thing. So it doesn't make Meechin and B-Fab do much. Like, I don't know who who is benefiting from this feud. So yeah, I gotta give that a thumbs down for this episode. And then we basically ended up with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, where we basically had we essentially had this contract signing. I mean, we know with all the amount of matches that have been announced for WrestleMania, when the televised contract signing, it's never like part of the deal. Like, otherwise otherwise the entire shows would just be contract signings. So the fact that this was placed right at the end of the show as well, we knew that this wasn't going to be a simple amicable sit down and sign your name things. And that wasn't what we got. We got Obafemi, Brock Lesnar basically going straight at it, absolutely brawling. It was an absolute fantastic brawl, I gotta say. Both of them go crashing through the table. I just thought this was a really great brawl. I'm not too sure about whether it should have ended on that. I mean, in hindsight, I feel like, obviously, but in previous episodes of Raw, we've been seeing like CM Punk and Roman Reigns kind of closing this show out. And I feel like if this had ended with CM Punk basically delivering the pipe bomb at the end of the show like it was, I think it would have been a little bit better. I do. I mean, I'll be interested to know what your guys' takes on this are. But I would say that I think that the CM Punk's pipe bomb is going to basically be the main talking point. It's going to be, the main thing that people talk about here. So it just felt like kind of like kicking it off. Although I understand why they kicked it off in that manner, I felt like it sort of set a standard that the rest of the show, although largely what was quite good, I don't think it could quite live up to that opening. So I think that it would have been maybe better at the tail end of it. There's just little niggles and quibbles. Like I said, overall, guys, I thought that this was a solid episode of Raw. I did. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to ring a bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts on this episode of Raw was, what your own little fan theories and speculations are, going forward as we move along the road to WrestleMania. All that fun geeky stuff, let me know down in the comment section. And as always, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.